Hello and welcome to another episode of the Just Go Watch podcast. It's still horror spooky season, and we've got another horror lined up in Smile 2.
Yay.
Yay. I mean, look, a little bit more animation.
I can't wait.
No one trusts you. Yeah, no one trusts you, mate, because we assume you're going to cut us off.
Why? As if. No, I
You
wouldn't
know
do
you got
that
a
to
hair
myself,
trigger
would
on
I?
that.
Absolute dog shit.
I don't need to.
Absolute
I don't need.
fucking dog shit.
I do not need to see it to know it's dog shit.
All right, I'm not speaking the first 2 minutes
There
of
we
the
are.
podcast for the rest of the time.
There we are. There we are.
Oh, that's like my favorite
Oh my
part of the pod's
God.
gone already.
Absolute power will corrupt those who have it.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
You
you
know
gave
what's
me absolute power,
the thing
that would be catastrophic for mankind.
The thing about it is I can do it as well, and yet somehow I leave all the power to you. I have the
That's good.
ability to do it.
I'm nervous now.
I have the
nervous.
ability.
You can't.
That's it. That's it. Feel the beer, my friend.
Oh, yeah, that's scary. That is scary.
I don't
yeah,
do
no,
things
so
like The only thing I would do
Nah.
if I was doing it is do things like say, "Hey, man, how's your week been, bro? Oh, mine's been alright. You know, I've had a good week, man. A real chilled week, man.
Welcome to the
Oh,
Just Go Watch
yeah.
pod.
Hey there, baby. You got some lovely titties there.
oh god.
Oh, sorry.
You know, we've started recording, right? You know, we're on.
My bad.
People are gonna
My
listen
bad.
to this.
My bad. What are we reviewing today?
Oh, God. Like, there's already enough of our inane chit chat, and now we're going on and do you know what? Listeners, viewers, you are so fortunate because you think fucking hell it's a great pod. It's probably one of the best out there, better than all the others. But they talk for 10, 15 minutes before they even get going. We've been talking to each other for the past 40 minutes. Do you know what I mean? We've caught up. We know everything about each other now. But we're still going to bore you for 10 minutes at least before we even bother talking about the film. I think I've mentioned the film once. The rest of it has just been complete.
It's like in Wolf of Wall Street when the banker's like, "Hey, we must do chit chat for 10 minutes before we can talk business." You know what I'm saying? That's what we're like. We must talk some shit before we can pod.
It's a podcast about me and my buddies discussing movies. But the catch is we also sort of joke around.
Very good.
What I mean.
That was
very
a
good.
joke.
Very good. So what we're reviewing today? get back to
Smile 2. So yeah, we are well into October now, well into the spooky season, and the second movie come out. This is directed by Parker Finn once again. So this is his second movie. If you remember, Smile, the first one, that was his debut into film. So yeah, pretty good that you've got two big releases. Runtime of 127 minutes with a budget of, and now once again, like I did last week with Terrifier, the budget for the first one was 17 million. So use that information, do with it what you will.
I'm gonna say this one. I mean, it did look good, and there was lots of kind of the celebrity stuff, the less celebrity bits. So I'm gonna say 30 million.
Okay.
Yeah. You can tell that this is a higher budget. He's got more to play with in the movie. I was gonna say 30. I'll go 40 million.
Oh, it was 28.
Wow. Well, he got
And you shall know him, or he will be more or
Muad'Dib.
less on the money.
Muad'Dib has returned.
Right in that one down. Yeah. And the box office. Now, I did actually check what we had on this one, and we only have domestic.
Do we have a full? do have a full weekend. No, I mean, it's a Saturday, isn't it? So we're recording this, so we can't even have a full weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, I mean, this is a nonsense prediction, really, isn't it? But I'm gonna
Yeah,
say,
but yeah, it's part of the game. This is
all
this is
right,
what
all
the
right.
listeners
Yeah,
want to hear.
hey, I'm gonna play, and I'll play to win. When I come with the thunder. I'm gonna say it's made from. So we're talking Thursdays and Friday. Just in America. I'm gonna go for 15 million.
Damn, I was gonna say that. God, I don't know, because my theater, I went on a Friday night. It was not packed, to say the least. I'll go. What do you say? 15. I'll go. I'll go a little lower. I'll go 12 million.
9.4.
Hey,
Well,
look
there
at
we
there.
are.
There we are. We
Well,
Uno,
there we are.
uno. The
And you
original
shall know him, for he shall let his friends win on occasion.
So the
the
box
mercy
office
of the
for-
Muad'Dib.
For he has the lisan al Gaib.
I'm going to do the intro again. The box office for the first one at this point has hit 217.
Damn. I didn't know
So-
that movie was that big of a hit. I knew it was a
Yeah,
Well, the
hit.
first
but
one.
Shit.
The first one.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
the first one was sick, man.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
did
the first
well.
one was the best horror
I'm-
movie I'd seen in many years.
I'm pretty sure it had a good old marketing thing as well. They had the people like standing in
Yeah,
crowds and
yeah,
stuff,
that's
just giving a
right.
weird smile. Yeah, do you know the first one? I went back and checked out our review of it. Deej, you gave it a 7.5. I was a little bit more on the lower end. I gave it a 6.5. If I remember correctly, I think I wanted a little bit more from
You
the entity.
you said in the last one that you didn't feel like her kind of cracking up was earned. That was your big
Yeah.
thing. You
Yeah,
said you
I
didn't.
think I've probably softened on that maybe a little bit. Maybe I'd come up to like a 6.75, maybe even a 7 on it. But I felt like, yeah, there was a little bit less. I think, do you know what my main thing was? I can't remember if I said this in the original review, but the ending in my head was better than what happened. So you know, you think something's going to happen and you kind of have worked your way into it, and then it doesn't happen. You're like, oh right, well, that's a bit shit, because what I thought in my head would have been a bit of a more impactful, but you know, is what it is.
Yeah, fascinating.
Julesy, bless him, he gave it a 7. So, and that was our overall mark.
And let's just say, R.I.P. to Julesy, who actually did die as a victim of the curse from Smile, but unfortunately for the creature, when it tried to climb into Julesy's mouth, Julesy did in fact eat the whole thing and ultimately died just choking upon it, killing them both in a tragic accident. So
Unlike most people who it kind of climbs into their mouth, it went to do the same with Julesy. Julesy just did that disengaging of his jaw that he'd do at buffets and just swallowed the creature whole. So you had this look of surprise and it just fell down his gullet. Oh no! And then boom! Next thing you know, it's hitting the acid in his stomach and just disintegrated.
That's right.
So,
He Julesy proactively moved his mouth towards the thing to eat it. So,
So he died a hero, is what you're saying.
well,
oh yeah,
I hear
In a
live
way.
long enough to see yourself become the villain. You know.
yeah. That's what happened to me.
Yeah, because ultimately, after Julesy then died, he then fell over and killed a child. So, you know,
That was running away from Hatch.
yeah, Hatch.
Oh,
Very good.
there it is.
Very good.
Thank you. Thanks
Very
much.
good story.
What an awful
Very
end!
good.
What an awful end for that kid. He thinks that's got away, and then he gets crushed by a Julesy. Bloody hell.
That's the lesser of two
Um,
evils, I assure you.
Yeah, I think I would agree.
A most quick and painless death. It
Exactly.
Was. Yeah, you just couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't have the mum identify the kid. Where are we going?
Oh my God, where are you going?
We're off the rails.
That's 10 minutes of bullshit. So, so this movie then, Smile 2. This is the plot for it. I'm back doing it. Don't worry. So we pick up right after the first one, and the police officer ex-boyfriend of the main character in the first one, he's at day 6, and he has the kind of idea to try and give it to some low-life gangsters, drug dealer types. He tries to hand over the curse to them, However, it erupts into a bit of a shootout and everyone ends up getting shot. And unbeknownst to him, there was this sort of little street dealer who actually ended up seeing the whole thing and now has basically got the curse. As the cop runs away, he is boom, smushed, taken out. He is gone. So now it has passed on to this drug dealer. Meanwhile, Miss Riley, the pop singer sensation who's on the road to recovery after substance abuse, an awful car crash, and the loss of her beloved, is currently trying to get her life back together, get herself back on tour. But due to the car crash, she has some pain. She looks to link up with her drug dealer, who just happens to be the same guy who has witnessed this horrible stuff. She meets him at the end of his cycle, if you like, and watches him in his horrible, horrible demise. And so begins her cycle, where she gradually starts to lose her mind whilst also trying to balance show business, public performances and public shows, etc., with a not so nice mum and staff around her who are just a bit sycophanty. She's not sure what's real. Meets up with a guy who may or may not know how to get rid of this creature by, in theory, killing her and then resuscitating her back to eliminate the curse. However, by the time she tries to enact this plan, her mind is well and truly gone. The creature has got full control and in the end puts her on stage in front of all of her fans and boom, does the nasty. She kills herself and the creature has now passed on to thousands of fans in the audience.
Whew, catch a breath.
Oh, my God. My God. That was long, Hatch. You really
That was not long.
You have
That was not
really
long.
gone. You really have gone
bullshit.
back in time.
What absolute
back in
bullshit.
time.
What absolute bullshit. That wasn't even a minute and a half.
What? You don't think that was a minute and a half?
That wasn't a minute and a half.
That was at least 9 minutes. At least 9 minutes. It was a minute and a half by the time you got to the cop being killed. It was 9 minutes.
You do me a disservice here. You're Terrifier 3, man. How you're Terrifier 3?
Lasted
there wasn't even a plot. There wasn't even a plot.
My Terrifier 3 lasted about 35 seconds.
Nah, absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Yeah? Absolute lies. Listen, you've done a disservice there. I won't have it. That was a good plot one. And I could tell MP was impressed by the sound of it.
You definitely got a lot of information in. A lot of information.
Yeah.
In.
Did you get that plot summary from just reading the script? Did you just read the script word for word?
Unbelievable. That is disgrace. That was the entire plot. That was an absolute solid plot summary. If you've not seen the film, first of all, why are you listening to this pod? And secondly, you now do not need to listen because I've just given you a succinct keyword, succinct plot summary.
The whole time I was just thinking, why do we keep doing this plot summary stuff?
We should get rid of it. We absolutely should.
Yeah, we really should. We really should. Or I should just do it for banter because I'm so bad at it. But one way or the other, you should not.
Your plot summaries take years off my life.
My plot summaries are full of energy. My plot summaries are full of energy.
They're full of incorrect parts. So you get
yours
people's names wrong.
No. Yeah. But yours are like a man, yeah, fucking his wife for 40 years in missionary position, right? Where it's just going on for a bit too long. It's boring. He doesn't even want to be there. There's no energy in it, and she's just waiting for it to end. Mine are like a fucking 16, 17-year-old kid fucking for the first time. Don't know what he's doing. Just all energy comes really quickly, and no one
plot points everywhere.
You finish, and no one's satisfied.
Yeah, but everyone's like, no, it's not. They're not satisfied. They're just like, what the fuck just happened? I don't know, but I kind of had a good time doing it.
Oh, did they though? Anyway, let's talk about the fucking film. I hate you.
Yeah, please.
What was your assessment? What was your rating, you dick?
Why are you calling MP a dick for?
We're a professional outfit here.
That's right.
What's our USP again? Anyway, so
MP told you.
Right, Smile 2. Obviously, a horror season. I'm very, very, very glad we're back there. Smile 1, I thought was excellent. As I said, one of the best horror films I'd seen in a long time, amongst the kind of a sea of a bit of shit, really. That and Terrifier have been the kind of standout things for me in the last few years. This one, I'm not going to beat around the bush with it. I thought this was excellent. Now, that is not to say There are not problems. I do think, and there's obviously going to be another one. I'm confident there will be another one. You can't just keep doing the whole nothing really counts, because ultimately it can just be in someone's mind and blah blah blah. Like that's just, it's getting, it was all, I would say it's already predictable, not predictable, but that's already been done enough now in these two films. Like you have to start getting to a point where what I'm watching on screen matters because it's happened, not just constantly it's in someone's mind. And they took that to extreme in this one, because like 25 minutes of film just didn't actually happen, is all in her head, I guess, right? Having said that, the lead, I think she was fucking sensational. I'm praying one of you says she wasn't, because then we can have some war, because she was fucking sensational. I thought from start to finish, fucking excellent. I enjoyed this, there's the whole smiling, creepy, all of that shit just fucking works. I just like it. It's good. I was kind of that guy who was the brother trying to get rid of it. I was kind of interested to see if that went somewhere, and obviously it didn't. But yeah, I just thought good film, really good film. I can imagine you two probably thought it was too long. I didn't actually mind the length of it. I'm gonna say this film was, I'm gonna say the same as the last one. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Ooh.
Okay. Empilius.
All right. Well, actually, I had to watch Smile, the first one, again the other night because I forgot everything about it. I actually got it confused with. I kept thinking the end was the end of that movie, where they shake the hand. What was that one? Talk to Me. Is that right? Where they shake the porcelain hand. I kept thinking that was that movie. But anyway, so I was kind of prepped better for this movie. I went into it like, why are they making a sequel? Even when I rewatched it, I'm like, what can they do with the sequel to this movie? But I have to say this right off the bat for this movie. The opening bit with the cop boyfriend, whatever he was from the last movie, that might have been one of the best, 4 or 5 minutes movie opening I've seen maybe all year. I don't know. That I'd have to go back and watch, because I was on the edge of my seat through that whole scene. I think it was just like a one take shot, and that camera follows him all over, and shit's going wrong, and he's running. Oh my God, that was a great way to draw you into this movie. I was ready for it after that scene. And that kind of goes to the director, Parker Finn. I think the film looks really great. I think it's got sort of this hypnotic, dreamlike stuff with the camera, the way it moves around and glides through things, and he does like to spin it upside down a few more times than I like, but it feels otherworldly, that it should, when you're dealing with this sort of entity and all that. It's got some great sound design and stuff. It's really gorier than the first one, which I was a little bit surprised about. I think you can see a lot more blood, and not on the level of what we just watched with Terrifier 3. So I won't give it too much credit, but it was a bit surprising for me on that. Yeah, Naomi Scott might be the worst actress I've ever seen in my life. No, I'm just kidding. She actually carries this movie. Her performance, much like the young lady who played Rose in the first movie, that is sort of the central part of this movie. I love the whole idea with the pop star, her being famous and having to deal with this. And I know we talk about like the Blumhouse movies where they have great ideas, but when you get done watching it, you're like, well, they kind of blew it. They didn't really do anything. But this one actually kind of lands this. I don't want to say lands or sticks the landing, but it kind of pays off that she's this pop star, and they use it effectively. Where, I mean, when she first comes into the movie, unlike Rose, where she kind of descends into madness, this girl, what was her name? Sky Riley or something like that. I mean, she's already on edge when the first moment you see her. I'm already tense for her, for all the shit she's been through, dealing with the drug addiction and the crash and everything. So you see all of that, kind of where the demon would feed on that. And then she has all this other shit with her being a pop star, and she's kind of a product, and she's also an industry all these people are on, and her mom's always after her and shit. So it was really cool how they kind of incorporated all that into this story. I'm going to give her credit for wearing the Talking Heads t-shirt as well. And the drug stuff. That was a really cool way to advance the story or take it in a different direction. I will say, and Deej, you did say it wasn't too long, I think, and you mentioned it as well. You have so many fake out moments that there are parts of this movie that don't even really matter because it's a fake out moment. That whole thing with her best friend, I picked up on that as soon as she answered the phone. That was going to be a fake out, and it kind of loses its impact as you go along into the movie. And then ultimately, I think for me, the worst part of the movie is it doesn't really add much to the lore or anything. It's kind of the same movie, only on a bigger scale, which is kind of, I guess, a typical sequel, but I wanted a little more about what the hell is going on with this demon and how we can fight it. Even the stuff that they kind of explain, I don't even know if that was real or not. But ultimately, I got done with it. I enjoyed it. This feels like a really good Halloween movie for everybody out there that doesn't really want to go balls deep into gore with Terrifier 3. You can kind of get a little bit of gore, some scares, some creep out moments. And I'm going to start out with a 6.5, but I might go up.
All right. Yeah, so the first one I thought was fine. Left a little bit to be desired. Main actress, she was great and stuff. I just felt like a lot of it around her was kind of like, it's basically the movie's like, we got to make this movie happen. This film doesn't really progress the story. Quite similar to Terrifier 3. You could almost say this is like Smile 1.5 in some ways, because I still know pretty much the same I knew about the entity. This type of entity is going to be the one that, like, did you often mention it, where the more you know, the less it kind of makes sense, and you're like, well, hang on a second, how does that make sense? You know, but they kind of put enough there. I know how the entity works, but I'd like a little bit more in terms of. Yeah, we know we touch on it with that Morris character who kind of has done a bit of research. We actually had more of that in the first one, and that was one of the things that kind of detracted. But overall, I thought this was really fucking good. This was really, really fucking good. I was so uncomfortable and tense throughout a lot of this movie, and I love that from a horror movie. There's parts in it I'm actually surprised, and I'll talk about this in a sec, Deej, that I'm surprised that you were into. But I'll talk about that in the main part of the review. But yeah, I thought, fucking hell, man, like the creepy parts are so fucking creepy. That stupid smile. Oh man. Sometimes when the actors are doing it, they are just so good. And I'm like, there's nothing happening. What, you know, this is just great. Yeah, I think it's Naomi Scott who plays Sky Riley. She is unbelievable. I didn't realize she's only really done a couple of things. She was in Power Rangers. She was a Pink Ranger, I want to say, in that kind of remake film. But she's so good. She carries it, much like the previous actress did. She is just so good. Like her kind of stress, tension, everything. She proper sells it. And there's loads of close-ups of her with a camera, and yeah, she is just absolutely rocking it. And everyone else is kind of a bit part player around her that just needs to kind of, you know, feed off of her a little bit. Yeah, really, like you said, MP, what a setup where not only has she got to deal with this entity, but she's also in this lifestyle where she's just under the scope all the time. She doesn't get any freedom. No one wants to take her seriously. They're all just thinking about the bottom line. Really liked that there was the more gore. This is my level of gore. I'm happy with this level of gore. I'm safe at this level of gore. I don't need any more. It was gory in the first one, and it really, I thought they used it really, really effectively. I mean, one of the most notable ones is when the drug dealer kills himself, and you've got that noise of like the cheek coming away, and then they play that again at night, and I was like, oh my goodness, the hairs on the back of my neck were just going. And I was like, that's creepy as shit. This is such a good horror. I think this is one of the best horrors I've seen in a while. Which is unusual considering it is a sequel, but I think he did really, really well. The bits that do let it down, like I said at the beginning, and then I would like a little bit more from the entity. And as you guys have both said, that last kind of 25 minutes, I'm kind of like, if we're doing that much about it's in control, then, and this was kind of my problem with the last one, you know, I want that explained a bit more, because you could have said that she's maybe in a more advanced state of stress with everything that's going on. I mean, the drug dealer, he wasn't. He was still pretty chill, right? I mean, he was just in his place. He was just there, and nothing really happened. But she has an entire whole kind of thing where she's doing stuff or not doing stuff that she thinks is going on. So, yeah. But for me, this is I was almost at an 8. I think I'm going to go 7.75.
Wow.
Ooh, a 0.25. You know, Hattie's impressed when he breaks his own rules and does a 0.25.
Yeah,
This is
I-
unbelievable.
this is a bit shocking.
7.5 for me just wouldn't. It was
Yeah.
good, and it was better than, again, you think I love a horror, despite what some people say. Horror. I like a good horror. I don't know. Maybe I will end up on an 8. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? But I think whether you went down to a 7.5 or went up to an 8, it wouldn't be wrong. Because it was just, I don't know. She was so sensational, yeah.
Yes, she
like
was. She was.
I've been thinking
Oh my
about it
gosh,
like
she was so good.
since I've seen it. Like that bit where she's on stage and she's just like, "Stop smiling at me." I was just like,
Yeah.
at no point did I not believe her entire personality. And I remember thinking right at the beginning when she goes to see him for the drugs before she's even got the curse, I was like, she's basically there already. She's already
I know it.
on the verge of being gone.
Like I said, you're already tense for her because even at the beginning when she's doing an interview on the TV show, she's already having moments like that where she's about to fall apart. So you know that she's on edge and this thing's gonna find her.
I
Yeah.
do think that
And-
was a misstep in the film, not kind of maybe giving that as an explanation. Do you know what I mean? Because that, as you said, that last 25 minutes, if we've not seen anyone else have that reaction, right? Everybody else is in control up until maybe the last 5 minutes. I mean, you look at the police officer; he's on day 6, right? So he's on a final day.
No, the one in the first, the girl in the first one wasn't. I think this was your criticism of it. I didn't agree with it. She was not in control. One in the first one.
No, what I'm saying is she has momentary blips. So, for example, with the cat, and then with where she might see something in public, but she is still her, and she's doing her own actions. Apart from she loses a bit of time, whereas she.
Right, sorry, yeah. So you're saying
that last 25 minutes of the film, we're talking she is completely under control of this thing.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else, it's been someone. Are you listening to me? And you're like, wait, what? How have I got? Do you know what I mean? You lose it. In a film, to have an entire 25-minute sequence that essentially, as you said, doesn't happen. That suggests that this thing has got more control than the others, where you have maybe 5 minutes of screen time, even if it's over a bigger period, right? Because
and I just feel like that's a. I don't say it's a weakness, right? But in the first one, they did the whole thing where it's she kills it, and then she goes to see him at the apartment, and then he turns and slowly does that horrible smile, and you're like, "Fuck, she's still there," and it's a horrible twist.
Yeah.
And in this one, they did the same thing, and they did the same thing where the phone rings and she talks to someone that she's already thought she's with. Both quality bits from the first one. Which don't quite hit as hard in this one because you've seen it, but still really good bits. But as you said, in that first one, it's she runs off, goes back to the apartment, and then realizes she's still there, and it's it's a little bit that's happened. Whereas this is a whole period of time. She's you're talking really from the time she's in her apartment, where it climbs inside of her.
Or seems to be trying. It's almost as though it doesn't quite get there, but
almost
has a hold.
Exactly that. And then from that point on, nothing happens until she, in real life, nothing happens until she's on stage. But it means that I kind of feel like you as a viewer, I get it that you're experiencing it from her point of view, but you also as a viewer, you kind of are going along with the story and trying to you're saying, okay, so maybe there's a way to get rid of it, and it's kind of the tricks played on you as well. But I don't know if that necessarily, or if it does work, I don't know if there's legs in it to do it again. I think ultimately you can't keep on relying on that as a plot device. You've got to at some point say, right, no, we're going to actually, there's still always going to be bits of that, but we've got to tell a story that actually kind of
a third one of the same thing would not be interesting.
No, I think they pushed it as far as they can in that respect of this one and the next one. A bit like we said with Terrifier. If the next Terrifier isn't her hunting him down, then it's going to be just a bit I don't know now. And the same with this one. I think, this next one's going to have some more explorative work and a kind of a bit of this is how you get to this thing and this is what you do with it and this is where it comes from or whatever. A bit more story to it, I think, rather than
Do
just
you know
one
what? With
person's
that, with
perspective.
with that ending sequence again, they did another thing where I anticipated something happened. I don't know if it was like a fake out, So I was initially really interested in the whole we're going to try and stop your heart for 8 minutes and then that should break the curse. I was really interested in that potential, and I was like, I actually wish they had tried to do something, just because that would be a bit different, right? You
Right.
could always say like it doesn't work, right? But just to try something different, have a bit of a different ending, right? But I did actually like when they get to that old pizza place, whatever. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but on the wall, I knew she was fucked. I knew it wasn't going right because on the wall there was stuff written.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
as she first entrance, it was "Get out of my head" written on the wall. As she first enters the introduced in the big room, and then it's like 3 hugs this way, and then on the wall it said "Be mine," and I was
Right.
like, she's 100% still fucked. But
Yeah.
I did think that when he was like, "Oh yeah, this thing has to be left here because if it shuts, then you'll be shut in," and I was like, "Oh, what are they going to do with that?" They actually do nothing. I
Yeah.
thought again she was going to inject herself and then knock that thing out so that she's trapped in there with it, and that's it. Like she traps it again. But then again, I got the ending of the first one wrong, so maybe that's just good
But
fake outs, good
was
little double bluff.
was all of that was all part of the thing
Yes.
vision in product. So none of that was real, even
Yeah.
what the guy was telling her about how to kill it. So I'm assuming that was just to kind of give her false hope.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
I guess.
I
But
think so.
again,
That's
it
the
was-
point of it, isn't it? Like it breaks
I
you
would
down
almost-
by like kind of giving you. It makes you. It I suppose brings you up, brings you down, brings you up, brings you down to a point where then literally you're so broken down that then it can get to you.
And it's
Although I have
a
a
shame because
Go on.
that whole segment, I was watching it like, oh shit! Like when her mum's like, "Well, look what you've made me do," and she's like stabbed up, and then she's
Yeah.
got the glass in her hand. I was like,
Yep.
oh
Yep.
fuck! And when she's gone out into the thing, like the gun, I was like, you fuck now.
Yeah, exactly. I
Like, what
thought
are you
the
gonna
same
do?
thing. What are you gonna do if
And I
you
was
do
like,
beat
holy
this
shit!
thing?
She's like, she is proper off the rails. In the first one, what? She kill a cat. And everyone else just thought she was being crazy. Here, she's literally like gutted her mom. She's taken a gun. She's firing off shots, and now she's like driving dangerously. Like this is fucking mental.
But like it raises the point that like what you said, you kind of I'm not really understanding at this point what this demon can actually do, right? Because in the first one, you get that like she's killed the kid or whatever, the cat, and you're like, I guess she just blacks out and it takes over you for a while, right? And then I suppose you've got that bit at the end where it can take over your mind and make you see things. But in this one, it's like a whole narrative, like it's a whole complex thing of her stabbing someone up and seeing all these different people and they're acting the right way, and then she gets in the car and I don't know. It's like it's such a severe fake out after fake out. I don't know, like.
Yeah.
I say it does work because I enjoyed watching it, but afterwards I just felt a bit like, but it is a bit lazy because it
And
is kind of
also,
just saying I'm going to make a
it's too
film and then
much.
at the end I'm going
Yeah.
to say none of it matters. None of
Yeah.
it matters. Blah blah blah.
it's a little bit like how has she gone from, if you're saying like, what is the creature in control? Is she just blacked out? Is she just going through the motions? Do you know what I mean, is she basically like a robot as she's being put in her makeup, put in the costume? I did like that she was in the costume that she didn't want to wear, and she's all in that, and then boom, she's on stage. Like, is the creature in control at that point? Because it's a bit.
Yeah, I don't.
That
I
would
don't
be
know.
kind of what I would take from it, but yeah, they don't
It's
really
a bit-
explain.
it's a bit-
That's
it's
little
a bit
things
strange.
they can explain that I was
guess
hoping they were
yeah,
going to
it's a-
expand on in this movie. Just little things. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been good to expand on it because I think, like, are you saying, film, has the creature realized the potential and it's like, holy fucking shit, I am the luckiest demon alive because I can now infect thousands of people at a time? Because but you could do that if you were anybody. If the demon is like, oh, shit, all I got to do is get on TV. Let me just go find a TV thing. Let me just go do whatever. You know what I mean? Like, or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
go do it in front of Times Square. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
and I don't know.
Then you'd have
like,
loads of people.
Yeah.
If
and I
you're in
don't feel
control,
like
then just do that.
I don't feel like the film's ever suggested to us that it can just take over people. Like it's obviously made her
It can make you see things, but can it actually
make
control
you,
your body?
yeah. Well, I suppose it must do to a certain extent because it does it with the cat,
Yeah.
but like in this, yeah, I mean, it obviously takes over her for such a significant period of time, but does it in such a way that no one thinks there's anything wrong with her. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like it's not just like making her sleepwalk and go and kill a cat. It's carrying out her normal day-to-day life
Yeah.
in for such a period of time that no one's thinking there's
And
anything up.
also
So
with the thing with her being a pop star, that no one around her cares what's going on with her. They're just trying to get her from point A to point B. So I would think if the monster or the demon was controlling her and she was going on, they'd be happy. They'd be like, good, let's just get her dressed and get her on stage. You know what I mean?
yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe that's something.
I mean,
that
her
kind of
mum,
take.
what a horrible bitch
Oh,
she
I
was.
know.
Oh,
I know.
fucking hated
Yeah.
her. Like, oh man.
Yeah,
But it
she
was
was kind of-
such a good idea to do it that way because I mean, it helped pull me into the movie because I was like, this is great because if you were a pop star and you had all these people counting on you, they're just trying to pull. And then if you had like this history with drugs and alcohol and all this abuse, anytime you did something, that's what people would instantly think. Oh shit, she's doing drugs
back on
again.
it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it would be like this horrible world. You'd be surrounded by all these people, but no one would. You had no help at all. I was like, oh, this is really brilliant. And they, like I said, if this was a Blumhouse movie, they'd have discussed it and then never seen any kind of payoff. But this one, they follow all the way through with it.
And this one, she has absolutely no one. Like in the first film, okay, she speaks to the prisoner who knows what she's going through. The police officer knows what she's going through. Obviously, like her partner leaves her a pretty quick time and stuff like that. But she does still have. She has someone she can speak to, right? That police officer, whereas she just hasn't had anyone because I don't really know what the deal is with the friend. Was it always fucking with her? And that she never even had her.
Always
it can't have. It can't have always been.
Was it fucking with her to the, when it said, no, this is the first call I've made, like when she was in the car, that might have been it fucking with her as well.
Well, it must be. It must be, right? Because she sees the friend for the first time before the bit where she gets the concussion-y bit or whatever, where they kind of almost get inside her, right? So
Yeah.
and that whole bit where she's in the car and the phone rings, that doesn't actually happen, does it? Because she's never actually in that car.
That's true. You're right. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Oh yeah. Fair.
So-
Yeah. Good point.
And
Well
you shall
made.
know
Good
him.
point, well made.
Oh, he
Yeah.
will make
He would make good points.
I mean, that's
various
the problem with this. That's the problem when you have like this such a large segment. And I know we're kind of beating on all the negatives. Fucking hell. We should probably talk about actually why we like this film. But yeah, that is the issue. But fuck me, man. I think the kills were excellent. That drug dealer death. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
And the blood and everything
Oh,
else.
yeah.
They
When
did
he's
that
smashing that
horrifically.
weight.
Like,
Oh my god.
his nose is gone. I really enjoyed the level of gore. I thought the best fucking when the dancers.
Oh,
there.
that was a
This is the
great
part.
scene. Great scene.
Siege, we always say like you're like, well, I'm not scared of it because they can't do anything. That's why I thought I wasn't sure. Would you have the same reaction? Whereas because essentially that is just a load of people in a room looking at her with that 6 smiley face, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I was like the hairs on the back of my neck were going. I was like, fuck,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was trying to tell myself, I was like, that is just some like one single. I was individually trying to look at them, right? But yeah, just the collective and everything else. That is so fucking creepy. The way they move. I mean, I'm annoyed that they ruined that in the trailer. They gave it away because the way they move and everything else is just so
shot.
creepy.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was an amazing scene, and I did think. I mean, to your point, Hatch, I did kind of think to myself, right? If I knew what this thing was trying to do to me, and I saw that, would I be like, well, fucking coming in or whatever, right? But then I also think to myself, it's easy to say those kind of things if I'm saying it, right? Because I'm saying it from a perspective of I literally have zero belief in any kind of thing, mystical, afterlife, spiritual, or anything like that, right? So there is nothing that could happen to me that would make me believe that was something that was happening. I would only conclude if this shit was happening to me that I am going bonkers, I am going crazy. So I don't know if I would experience the fear in that same way, but that when you look at it from the perspective of you're breaking down slowly, you keep on seeing all this shit, and like it would become a terrifying place to not be able to trust your own mind, to never know what's real, what's not real, and blah blah blah. And like just seeing that, would be fucking creepy. Like I don't care who, like even someone like me who doesn't believe in anything like that. If I just walk into a room and someone is standing there smiling at me, right? I'm gonna like, and it keeps happening to me, and eventually I realize these aren't real people. This is something else. At some point I'm gonna be a bit fucking freaked out by this. And if I walk into a room and there's a whole group of people, all my dancers standing there staring at me, every time I move they creep towards me. Yeah, I'm gonna be a bit fucking creeped out, man. So like, yeah, but from her perspective, I was like, yeah, this is terrifying. And but as a scene, it just looked
The way
so
the
good.
movie is
Oh,
yeah.
really
So
good.
good.
Oh
Yes.
man.
And the way
And
the
even
camera
even
angle
with the stalker
changed
guy.
and- oh my god.
Even with the stalker guy.
Yeah,
when,
that
like,
was another. I was going to bring that
he's
up.
like
I like that scene as
stripped
well.
off, and then he's like in the darkness. I was like, oh man, all you can
Yeah.
see is the smile and his eyes. Fuck, you know. Obviously, they needed to put the fucking shitty underwear in there as well.
Yeah, but that was a good scene. That was really good too, as well, because it kind of made you think, all right, well, is this a fake out?
Is this legit?
Yeah,
this
is this
could
a
be
legit.
legit.
Thing, or is this the demon?
Yeah, I
fucking
did
with
think
her?
it was
So-
legit. For a second, I did think it was legit.
Yeah.
That-
How
that's
he
good.
got in
He was
there, I
creepy
do
as
not
hell
know.
in the line with that little girl with that grin.
Do you know what was pointed out to me? I didn't even realize in the film. I just thought it was like part of a thing, like the water that she's drinking was like some branded water. I mean, I don't drink branded water. I just
Voss.
fucking fill up the tap.
Vast
Like,
water.
Yeah, I just like I thought it was quite a neat little thing of like she's trying to do that when she's stressed, and then what was it? I can't remember. Again, I can't remember if it was dream sequence or if she's seen it earlier on, where it's like, oh yeah, she's got a bit of concussion and mild dehydration, and maybe it's like fucking with her. She's not actually drinking, which is supposed to be her like coping method.
It was impressive
No,
how
but
she could down that bottle of water. Whew.
Oh god, man! Listen, every man in the cinema was thinking the same shit. Let's just be real about that. Let's just artistic. Listen, there's a lot. Listen, as an artist doing a sensational role, but you can't tell me that every single bloke in it.
I was impressed. That was some talent right there. But she did amazing. You know what was really weird for me was when they would flash back to her, like when she was at the car and they were driving around, and just different points in the movie where they showed her other version of herself. There were times where I was like, God, is that even the same actress playing that other character?
Unbelievable
really
scene as
different.
well.
And
Unbelievable scene. That bit where she was where they were
going back
driving in
and
the car
forward.
and she was the way it was filmed, moving back and forth. Like I got the sense of like how dangerous it was that he was driving from the way the camera work was, and just the way she was, the acting she did, and I was just like that whole bit, fucking incredible, man. Like just. I honestly can't say enough about her performance. I just thought, fucking, that's the best performance I've seen from someone in a horror film. I mean, well, just point blank in a film for a long time. Like,
I think I'm inclined to agree.
I'll agree with that. Yeah,
yeah. You know, because your horrors, and this is, I think, what I've mentioned before. Like when you have these, this is why I hate these. You know, you look at Afraid or whatever that AI shit film was. You know, and you got these dead average characters. I'm like, yeah, okay, you exist. I'm not getting anything from you. Half of the audience's fear is the fear that the actors, that the characters are feeling, right? If you go around and it's fucking the Terminator there, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's like, I'm going to kill you, demon, then you have less fear, right? Because of you feel the fear. You're feeling like this demon.
I want to see that movie now.
Yeah. I know why you smile.
But this is something I can never do.
Yeah, so you feel the fear that the better the performance, the more fear there is. And again, like when you actually care about this person, I feel like you know the character, she's relatable, even though she's this pop star. You like feel the things that she is supposed to be feeling, and you understand, even though she is this big flashy pop star. I'm not there like, well, she fucking deserves it because she's got everything. No, because you know she's obviously she's been through a lot of hardship, but it's such a good performance, and you see the mind unraveling. I was so tense throughout this whole thing. I felt like I was sweating throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
It was just like
I actually thought of you.
Oh, yeah.
I thought of
The
you when I was
tension.
watching it because I remembered in the first one you
That's
saying you
cute.
didn't feel
That's
like
cute.
it was.
That's so sweet.
I thought, I thought, God, there's no kids in here. Hatch would hate it. No, I thought to myself, in that first one, you were like, yeah, you felt like her breakdown wasn't earned, and I was like, there's no way you could think that in this one.
No,
No way. Like
no.
it's so
From the
it's so
start.
well done. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it helps.
the
that
demon
she's-
was cheating. The demon was cheating here. It's like,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the
you're
demon,
fucking
demon,
shooting in a barrel.
yeah, the demon
She
did
was
cheat.
already, she was basically.
Yeah.
She was halfway there, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Well, more than that. But
I also
mean,
thought the story was just so believable. Like, as in, the first one, again, really good setup. Like, psychiatric patient just been brought in, whatever, and she sees that, completely believable. This, again, like her meeting with the drug dealer, I'm like, yeah, point A to point B, 100%. I'm in. Obviously you're there, like, don't fucking do it, don't fucking do it, don't fucking do it. But even then, even the text message is there, like it's the demon fucking around, because she's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Oh man, yeah, just great.
Yeah, it's a great job for was it Parker Finn? Yeah, because as I mentioned from the opening of this movie, it just grabs a hold of you and just does not let go.
Yeah, you're right, because that beginning bit was top drawer. You are
I want to
correct
see.
on
You were talking about the Smile 1.5. That's kind of what I want to see with the cop. I want to see what he did in between these two movies that led to that.
Well, it does seem like
Yeah.
he has more of a grip on his sanity at the end, right? Because by the time she gets to day 6, she doesn't know if she's fucking coming or going.
Well,
Whereas
is a
he
man, so maybe
had
that
the
was
plan,
something.
and we see like the immolation woman as he's walking up. It was all a one take, by the way. We see the immolation person, but that's the only. I mean, he might be seeing more. You don't know. And he obviously
Yeah.
he looks fucking knackered, doesn't he? When that first single
does.
shot, he
Yeah.
looks fucked.
He
But
does. But
he may be a bit more
Maybe-
complimentous, maybe a little bit more mental fortitude, because
yeah. That's what I was
No,
just thinking.
yeah.
Because he's a cop.
Yeah.
Because he's a cop, and also he's forewarned with knowledge of what it is beforehand
Yeah.
because of his
Mm,
dealing
yes.
with her. So maybe he's got a bit more like, yeah, I can deal. I'm not cracking up. It's freaking. It's fucking me
Mm.
up, but it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not on the verge of cracking up. That's the only thing with the premise, which, like I say, I think in the next one they're gonna have to go beyond the whole just, oh yeah, it breaks you down, because there must come a point at somewhere where, I mean, she almost says it, that yeah, I don't care if I die. I've lost everything. It doesn't matter. So if there would be some people that would be like, once they know what it is, you would not be able to break them down mentally just by freaking them out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
right,
it's going to have
right.
to at some point go a bit, I
Right.
don't know, a bit deeper, I think, into it.
Take the
I also
hero's
want-
way out and be like, okay, well, I'm not going to let this get out, so I'm going to take my life. In
That's
this
what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that both of these characters were going to do at one point. I thought she was going to lock herself in a freezer. I thought the first one was going to go out to that house and kill herself somehow. But yeah, neither of them done it. I mean, the next one, if they do make a next one, you really now have to have somebody's like, right, how do we take this thing out? And I do wish they'd done a little bit more with that Morris character in this one, because again, that latter part, he's in one scene. I mean, what a stupid thing to text. Like, were you? Yes, I will incriminate myself and reply and say, yes, I was. Like, you'd be like, listen, look, I know who you are. I know
what's
that
going
you're going to be
on.
going through some shit right now. Like, you're going to be seeing things, and I know how to stop it. You need to reply, Sky. Instead, it's like, I know what you
I
did
know
last
what you
summer.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And leaves
Please
it
be
for
more
like days
creepy,
as well.
dude. Yeah.
Leaves it for days in between. No, I think that Morris guy, that side of the plot would be interesting. But maybe that, the one flaw with this whole thing is, you're right, someone kills themselves before it takes over them, then the thing's gone. And that's such an easy loophole that maybe you can't push it too far in the explanation point at where we are in these two films, because it would make it too easy to end it. So maybe now we're in the next. They've now moved it to this point where loads of people have seen it. So in theory, loads of people have got the curse, and now you can start examining, right, how do we actually kill this thing? We can't just have like everyone there killing each other. So killing
wonder,
themselves, too many people.
I wonder if the third one starts right with like some sort of news report because you've had this like mass suicide on the same day.
Well, yeah,
Do you know what I
something.
mean?
Yeah.
It's because they've all gone 6 days. They've all lost their mind. So maybe you've had like this increase in. I mean, I don't know if they've all come from the same place, but this
None of
increase
them-
in like mental health nut jobs within New York or wherever they are, and then boom, suddenly the suicide rate or the horrific suicides just bump one day, and then you've got like, what the fuck's going on? And then, you know, whatever, you got somebody investigating. I think that would be a good. That would be a good film.
That would make sense because nobody in that crowd was looking away at the end of that movie.
That was
Yeah.
such an effective way. I was like, oh, I kind of want to see how she's doing it. This is the main character, but so effective to have everybody else
They were just
reacting to
staring.
her, and then she
Yeah,
just
yeah.
falls with the fucking microphone in her
Yeah.
face.
I
Like,
thought that's what
oh
she was
my
doing as
God.
well. I was like, in my mind, what she did was exactly what I was picturing. I thought, how
I
would
thought
you
she
kill
was
yourself
going to
with a
rip her.
microphone?
I thought she'd rip her stomach open like it did, like it actually.
No, I
did.
thought to myself, no, because you could hear
Yeah.
like the microphone being banged, and I was like, how would you kill yourself with a microphone? I was like, yeah, you'd have to, wouldn't you? Fucking in your eye and fucking just
Jam it in your
whack
eye.
it in there, like. But
Oh,
like,
man.
no, but I mean, what happens in the like now? So you've got 30,000 people all with this curse. In theory, you've
Yeah.
got, I guess, then you've got 30,000 people killing themselves every 7 days. That is a
Yeah.
rate of killing that's probably too high for a virus to continue to spread.
Yeah.
Because, like, so there's gonna have to be
Run out of
something.
hope.
But I mean, look, I'm interested. That point makes it interesting. It's almost a bit like reminds me of 28 Days Later or of the first Planet of the Apes, where you've got this thing that's a small self-contained thing, and then by the end of the first one, it's spread everywhere. So now we're moving into a new stage of this story. So I'm cool with it.
Go on.
No, I'm saying I don't think it can't just be the same now following someone who is
someone
trying
different.
to solve. You don't want. I just don't want one of those. I can't remember if it was the Ring or something like that. Where they're trying to solve it, and then it's like, oh, they've almost done it, and then it's a fake ending, and then you got the real ending where they didn't really do it, and it sets up another one. Like let's be artistic. Let's have our artistic integrity in place here, and the next one beat it.
And
Make and then have a really good trilogy of horror films. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
I think the thing that makes these films, this one in particular, is so good, but the first one as well to an extent, is that isolation. It's that, like, even in a haunted house film where you've got a group of friends together, you've got your safety in numbers. Here, you are on your own. So I think you lose a lot of impact if suddenly you've got 30,000 people going through the exact same thing, albeit they'll be going through it maybe separately. It loses that impact. Like, what makes this so scary is the isolation it creates for you, and that it basically traps you away from your nearest and dearest, so that you can't trust anyone, and you eventually go into your demise, like kicking and screaming because you've just lost it mentally. So I'm really curious what they can do with it for a third one, if they make a third one, and still keep that level of suspense.
I'd like to see this director's go in a different direction in a horror movie as well. Since this is what you said, this is only his second movie. I'd like to see him do maybe a different kind of horror movie. See if he still has the same mojo for it.
If he's going to do this kind of thing, if he's got this kind of minerals, then clearly he should be given it. I don't know whether it's, I know sometimes they start in horror, don't they, and then they move across a little bit, but sometimes they,
Marvel
like
comes
Mike
calling.
Flanagan, Mike Flanagan and James Wan did a lot of horror for the beginning before he went.
Depends on the type of guy you are, because I heard an interview this week with Damien Leone from Terrifier, and he is a horror guy. There's no way I can't see that guy making other types of film, because he is a straight horror guy. This guy, maybe he's got different different ambitions, but I think also depends. Did he do the first one as well, or is this different guy?
Yeah, same. His
wrote and directed both of them.
It's literally, it's literally smart.
So I think what's a lot for him now is going to be, can he stick the landing if they do a third one? Because now, firstly, this one was so good and she was so good that there's a very, it's quite a high bar now, and I could see the next one flopping It's the kind of thing I could see flopping
Yeah,
because you're not gonna have her, so you're gonna need to have a really good lead,
Yeah.
and you're gonna need to have a story that brings it to a conclusion. So you know, a lot of pressure on him. But if he can pull that off and stick that landing, then I would think he's in a very good position moving forward, because he's shown that at that point not only can he create something, but he can build something and then stick a landing as well, which is
see it all the way to the end. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I
All
did
right,
want to bring
well,
up.
okay.
No.
Go on.
One thing I did
Yeah.
want to bring up.
Yes.
That which I one thing I did like, but I did think I'm not sure about this. So this demons broke her down into, like, you know, she's now like, she's ready to be taken over, and then it transfers her into the, you know, it says break a leg, and all of a sudden she comes out of that thing and sees her mum alive and whatnot, and the things on stage of her. But I don't think that would have been the thing that finally broke her. I feel like if you put her back then onto the stage and she sees her mum's actually alive and she's no longer in that horrible room with that thing, she's back on stage and there's people and whatnot, and her mum's alive. I feel like that would have given her a jolt of strength. Whether or not she's like, I don't know what's real anymore, I don't know, whatever. I feel like just being there would have given her an adrenaline rush of strength, and fucking she'd have probably run to her mum or whatever, and that wouldn't have been the moment she breaks down. Do you know what I mean? I felt like she was more vulnerable at the moment she was in that freezer and it was climbing on top of her.
I disagree. She'd said, even though it was in a dream sequence, she'd said she was like, I can't do the show. I don't want to do the show. She didn't want to do the show. She didn't feel comfortable doing the show. And I think she's now in front of all those people who are expecting of her. And she's like, fuck. She knows she can't do it. She knows she's fucked. She's now in front of her mum, who she kind of does want to please her mum. Her mum and her have this almost like weird relationship that's like, you know, mum is take, and she just wants to give. She wants to make her mum proud, probably. And then she's in front of all of her fans who she doesn't want to let down as well, in front of the label and everything else. And she knows she can't do it. She knows she's fucked. So I think that is like,
it's fucking, you're saying after all of this,
it's fucking one. It's fucking one. She knows it's one. She knows it's one.
After all of this stress that it's been through, right? After all the things she's been through and seen, I don't feel like then, oh no, I'm on stage and no, I didn't want to be on stage and I don't feel like I can perform is going to be the thing that breaks you mentally. Like, I feel like she was broken mentally in that room with that thing on top of her, and then when she bit the things off and tried to stab herself in the neck. That's what I mean.
It's like fuck you. Let me give you one more little thing when you just
but this one it's fucking with her. And it's and when she stabs herself in the neck and then realizes, oh shit, the needle's not there. She is like literally like, I feel like then at that point she's almost at the point where the girl was in the first one. But I feel like then jumping her back onto stage where she can see that she did not in fact kill her mum, and it is in her mind and stuff. That I just feel like that wouldn't have been the thing that broke her. I feel like that, if anything, would have given her a little something. And then it seems like the kind of ultimate backbreaker in both films is when this creature finally reveals itself. But I don't know, man. I didn't feel like when it revealed itself, is it that, you know, the fear of actually seeing this thing is a thing that breaks you? Because she's seen, I don't know, she's been scared the whole time. I just feel like it has to break you. And that little bit,
it broke her. It broke her. It broke her. It already won. And then it was like, haha, I win. And then
I don't know. I just wasn't sure about that.
And then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it where it's most advantageous for me to do it on the stage.
I get that part.
I've already won. So
I get that from the monsters' point of view.
It's a little victory lap.
Yeah, from the monster's point of view, it makes sense. But I was just thinking, like, as I often do in horror films, I put myself in the character's place, and I was thinking, if I'm in that freezer and it's doing all these things, I was like, this is horrible. This is really uncomfortable. This is, you know, it is nightmare stuff. Then if all of a sudden I'm put back where people are and it's light and I can see people and I can see my mum and shit, I just feel like that would not have been a move that made things worse for me than when I was in that cellar with you. That would have made it better and given me a little bit of strength, where you might only need a little bit of strength to kind of not be at the breaking point. I don't know. And to me, I just wasn't sure about that.
In the pizza place with the cops coming after her and she knows that it's all done. Like everything she worked for is gone. Now she does. You're right. So I'm going to give this a 0 now.
There we are. Well, there we are. I've done. No. It made sense. It made perfect sense.
All right, so what? Are you coming down to a 7?
No way. As I say, it didn't bother me to that extent. I just because and it, like
There we go. I
clearly,
mean,
it's
Deej is
clearly you
going to
can-
Deej. He's going to give a film a high rating.
And
And
then
the last
slag
thing
it
he's going to say on it, he's going to say about how much he hated it.
up.
hated it.
Tradition
Deej is
Oh,
Deej.
Listen, there's
Deej
only
has
one
got a
thing.
Deej.
There's only one thing I hate in this world, my friend, and that's you. And that is you. And I give
can't-
you a
that's-
0. I'll give
that's
you a
nice.
0.
That's not. You put me on that pedestal. I get all of your hatred.
I hate
can
you
take
more
it
than
all.
you. I hate you more than you.
Good.
You hated
Go on.
that film that
Yeah,
you wanted to give a
this
1.
is-
I forget what it's called.
Oh, don't you bring up Interceptor. MP,
Yeah.
are you staying on a 6.5?
No, I think I am going to come up. I'll come up to a 7.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like I said,
Oh,
I
if
was
you're gonna
bouncing
come
between
up,
a
I'll
6.5
come
and a 7, so I'm going to hit a 7.
I just can't. I don't know if I can quite give this an 8. I feel horrors are a weird one to judge, aren't they? I just don't know if I can give this an 8. I'm going to stay on my 7.5. What does that give us then?
That
7.5,
gives
7,
a-
and 7.5.
It gives
7.75.
a 7.4 on the Just Watch calculator. It was a very, because we are realistic with our results. We're not
Exactly.
a nonsense platform.
We're not
That is a very
shills.
good.
No one paid
Yeah.
for our ratings.
Yeah,
No,
that is a
speaking of
good
nonsense-
rating.
Speaking of nonsense platforms, what did Rotten Tomatoes give it?
um,
Ah, segue.
Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I can't see this not getting good. It's a horror film, so it's not going to probably get the highest of ratings from. I'm going to say 80 from critics, and I think audience will like it. 92 from audience.
I'll go. I think 85 from critics. I think they'll like it. I think they liked the last one, if I'm not mistaken. And audience, God, this is going to be tough. Because it's the right time of the year. Like I said, it's not Terrifier 3, so you're not gonna be like throwing up as you walk out of the movie. I'll say, I'll go in. What did you say for an audience, Deej?
Don't you worry about what I said.
Well, I don't want to duplicate it. I'll go 93 for audience.
MP, you were closest on critics. 84 for critics,
All right.
and it was 86 for audience.
So we split it
Interesting. Not
again.
much between them on
Yeah.
audience and critic. I
No,
did think
no.
critics would be higher than that. Interesting.
Mm, mm.
Interesting.
Yeah, no. So
Yeah.
liked overall.
But they both liked
that
it.
They both liked it. 100%. They both liked it. I think I think you struggle to find anybody who likes horror apart from you, Deej, who's going to rate this one particularly low. Really.
You do disgust me, and I do hope all the bad things in life happen to you and only you.
And on that note, that lovely note, there's only one way how you are going to know what you think, and that is
Just go watch.
no, I'm joking.